So they're rekindling that Midwest magic, this time in the nation's capital. And here we go. First possession goes to Notre Dame. It's been so impressive to see a freshman really leading the offense for a Power 5 school. Maddie Westbeld puts it in early. Cook, we mentioned, back in this lineup, which means Genesis Bryant gets to play off the ball. Number one, Genesis Bryant was the point guard for those 3 games where Cook was out.
And right away, you notice for Notre Dame, Kassan Prosper, who is in the starting lineup for Sonia Citron, getting the assignment of Cook. But right away, I like the call by Niele Ivey. Everyone has to do more with the absence of Citron and also Miles, of course. But getting the ball in the inside and getting a high percentage look from Westbeld is the way you want to start your offense.
Focus for this Notre Dame team was getting off to a better start than they did a couple days ago against Northwestern. They were down 8-0 in that first quarter, and Coach Ivey said, I don't know what it was, but we got to figure it out. And you're seeing that energy early, both offensively and then defensively from Hannah Hidalgo.
Well, lots of adjustments for the Irish, let's be honest. I mean, without Olivia Miles and now without Sonia Citron, you know, from game to game, it seems like Niele's had to find something to get this team going and to get them all on the same page in terms of their chemistry. But it's still early, Zora, so that's the good part of it.
4 games into the season for both of these teams, active defensively. Basketball will stay with Illinois. This is a Notre Dame team that's had 2 back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances. Niele Ivey in her 4th season. That first year was the COVID year, so many things were different. And this is a storied program in women's basketball. 9 Final Fours, 2 championships. You have so much pride when you put on that Irish uniform.
And Niele's been a part of it as a player, as an assistant coach, now as a head coach. And this is a team that was picked to finish 4th last year, Zora, and ended up winning it all. And of course, Niele, ACC Coach of the Year, the first black woman to get that title.
Cook going to the floor, slowly helped up by her teammates. Foul call there on Kylie Watson.
It looked like it was on the screen, but I want to take your attention once again to Kassan Prosper, White, number 4, who is guarding Cook full court. I mean, she has size and length and is really challenging her right now on the defensive end in the absence of Sonia Citron.
And staying with her athletically as well. Sometimes when you put a bigger guard on somebody like Cook, you worry about that big matchup between Cook and Prosper. Meantime, Genesis Bryant at the top of the key, shot clock winding down. Offensive foul is the call. So 2 back-to-back turnovers. Score remains at 2-0. Both of these teams settling in. This is a neutral site. We mentioned the fact that they haven't played each other in quite some time. They did scrimmage last year, but different circumstances than a game that counts on the books.
And defensively, Cook has the assignment of Hidalgo, and they want to contain. This is a team that doesn't want to be in defensive rotation, but right there, help on the baseline, just missed the layup.
Bryant getting right into the offense for the Illini. Rattles that one in.
The growth of Genesis Bryant and her role on this team, in particular the absence of Cook. Oh, even if it was only for a couple games, she really had to take the reign, had 32 points in the first game of the season, setting the tone for her level of aggressiveness.
Bryant averaging 16.3 points per game.
And this is what both teams want to do. They want to run and score in transition. So neither coach is happy with all the half court that we've seen so far, but going back to that last bucket, Genesis Bryant right here, just using a little screen. Maddie Westbeld has got to be there a little earlier on the contest. But a player that transferred from NC State had a relationship with head coach Shauna Green and really wanted to play for her in Illinois.
In joining the Fighting Illini, she's had a chance to really show off what she can do, getting more time, more opportunity. That's Westbeld from the outside, a big that is proving she can shoot from any area on the floor.
And that pick and pop action actually hurt Illinois in their loss to Marquette. And talking to Shauna Green, she said she wanted to do some things defensively, but really challenging her bigs to get out on the shot.
Hidalgo picks the pocket, converts on the other end. Active defensively already. She had 12 steals in one game. last Sunday against New Jersey Institute of Technology. Hannah Hidalgo, we talked about the fact that she leads the nation in that category, and her ability to extend the defense, apply pressure, is contagious within this team. Another steal by the Irish. Bodies on the floor, tie-up is the call.
I mean, ball security has to be at the top of the scouting report where Hannah is concerned. But going back to the pick and pop, if you are the big on Maddie Westbeld, you got to get out there because she can score it. But look at the one-player press right here. Hannah just really great hand and foot coordination. I mean, she just reads the ball so well. The timing on those steals, again, leading the nation in that statistic. But she's fearless. She's not afraid to go after the possession and puts in the footwork. It's one thing to get your hands in there, but to stay in front of the defense with your feet, incredibly difficult to do.
Shauna Green encouraging her team to take care of the basketball and get past that first layer of defense. They do exactly that on that possession. That's McKenzie. Or Dahlia McKenzie with the layup. 3-point basketball game. Westbeld looking for some help.
Yeah, Ivy really looking to run her offense through Kat Westbeld, and you can, Maddie, Kat's her sister, you can do that because she can impact the game from the outside. We've seen her score from the inside. I definitely like that call. But going back to the drive by McKenzie, defense been kind of late on those rotations for Notre Dame. Their bigs have to get up and contest when their guards get caught on screening action.
It's only natural that you switched up Kat and Maddie. They're the only two sisters in Notre Dame history that both have 1,000 points.
I did the same thing last year in this very same event, Zora.
With the Mabrys?
Yeah. living rent-free. All the sisters from Notre Dame.
3 different sisters the Mabrys played at Notre Dame.
Living rent-free in my head.
Generational when you go to Notre Dame. This Illinois team is in the middle of a massive transformation, plus 15 when it comes to wins. And Shauna Green's first season, they had 7 wins a couple seasons ago, 22 last season. McKenzie to the glass, back-to-back times.
Really too easy getting to the cup. Another foul called on screening action for Notre Dame, so that's got to be a concern for DL Ivy with the shortened rotation. But right here, this just is not good communication and execution for Notre Dame in terms of their screening defense. You have got to get there if you're the big, or if you are the guard, you got to fight around it.
That foul was on Natalia Marshall.
But going back to what Illinois did last season, so impressive. Shauna Green in her first season, changing the culture there, getting them back to the NCAA tournament the first time in 2 decades.
Hidalgo back at it. This time 2-on-1 break. Westbeld driving in. The way that Notre Dame was able to run the floor in transition there. Rejected at the rim by Bransford. That's a player that's really high on the China.
There's some energy in this building from the Irish, as there should be. The pressure from Hannah Hidalgo, a little block there at the rim, and the Irish doing it on the defensive end, creating offense. Is she a freshman? At least that's what I heard, but she doesn't look like it, Zora. Notre Dame up.
We're not writers, but we help you shape your financial story. We're not an airline, but our network connects global businesses across nearly 160 markets. We're not a startup, but our innovation labs use new technologies to help keep your information secure. We're not architects, but we help build stronger communities. We're not just any bank, we are Citi.
The universal below-the-line traineeship's goal is to give people the opportunity to be on a major film production and learn on the job.
We shot Shooting Stars in Cleveland and Akron, Ohio. LeBron was adamant on that.
To know that projects like this are coming to town, it's a dream come true.
Giving you the opportunity to get hands-on experience.
The most exciting part has been all the people that I've met.
It really was a great opportunity. It's very important to LeBron that he gives back, so we're very excited to be able to do that as well.
walking tree is said to change its entire location in pursuit of sunlight. Where could reinvention take your business? Accenture. Let there be change.
Every morning, Today is serving up something special for you. Next week, Ina Garten answers all your Turkey Day questions, plus 5 days of holiday shopping. And Monday, the Thanksgiving Day Parade takes over the plaza live, only on Today.
The Viking season has turned into a roller coaster ride. And with a hungry Broncos team ready to make some noise, the wild ride continues. Vikings, Broncos, Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock.
Welcome back into the City Shamrock Classic from the nation's capital. We go now down to Isis Young.
Well, I found out where Coach Ivy likes to get her point guards. It's a nice small state called New Jersey. Current point guard on the court for them right now, Hannah Hidalgo, already with a steal and an assist, making her presence known in her freshman year. But also, their star point guard sitting out right now with an injury. Olivia Miles on the sideline, also from New Jersey, guys. So I asked Coach Ivy, well, what is it about Jersey point guards that she loves so much? She said they have that swag about them. They play with a fierceness and a feistiness, and they're just high IQ players. They stay in the gym. They bring teammates with them. Sounds like it's something about them Jersey girls, y'all.
Well, we heard that our sideline reporter, Isis Young, is from Berlin, New Jersey, so that may have something to do why she's got her eye on New Jersey, but there's absolutely an increase in the swag and the confidence, and Niele Ivy noted that with the addition of Hannah Hidalgo. I mean, she comes in as a freshman just ready to take her place in the basketball world and in the conversation about the top players. And we've seen that trend across the nation. A lot of really talented freshmen stepping into programs and making some noise.
We've been talking about Hannah Hidalgo, but Juju Watkins, what she's been able to do at Southern California so far, so many of these freshmen.
Full Wiley at South Carolina. Oh my goodness, she's a monster.
Westbell getting it going early. We've seen her inside and a couple of times from the outside. 2 threes on the afternoon from Maddie Westbell.
And you gotta love the aggressiveness of Maddie Westbell. Something that Niele Ivy talks about is how the things that she does doesn't always show up on the scoring sheet, in the stat sheet. That she's a player that does the little things. But today, in the absence of Sonia Citron, she has to do more. The pick and pop is going for her. The defense not able to recover. Second team all ACC last year.
6-point deficit here for Illinois. Trying to get away from the feistiness of Hidalgo, and Bryant does.
I've been impressed with Illinois' ability to get paint touches against the Irish defense.
Well, that's something that Shauna Green really had an emphasis on. Meantime, the other way, both these teams battling on the boards. Lands in the hands of Bransford. Westbell, attack mode.
You asked me about Bransford earlier in the broadcast, and she absolutely is a key, not for just this game, but for the Irish this season. Gives them some size, rebounds, has poise, just a knack and feel for the game. But in the meantime, Westbell is eating.
Backdoor cut by Cook, ends in a couple extra steps. Basketball goes to Notre Dame.
There's not a good matchup right now for Maddie Westbell, and you see why. You've seen the pick and pop, but look at how she takes baseline. She's got more speed off of the bounce than she may appear to at her size, and has just been effective from everywhere on the floor.
Here's Westbell and Hidalgo. Nice screen through the contact and one opportunity.
It was the hesitation. She lost the Illinois defense with just a little hezzy. And when you got the handle like Hidalgo, you got moves off the bounce right there. Just looks off the defense. Hezzy gets to the rim in the flex to go along with it.
Well, and that works so well when you have a player like Westbell who scored 12 of the 16 points. You saw Bostic there go with the pick and pop, and Hidalgo had a lane wide open to take advantage of it. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Cook going in her bag the other way. Hidalgo tries to take it away. And when he is successful. successful.
What you notice on that possession, Hannah missed a steal when she first went to it, right? She compromised the defense. High risk, high reward. But guess who had her back? Maddie Westbeld. And as this team continues to play together defensively, that kind of chemistry will develop. They expect Hannah to take those types of risks, and her teammates are responding, and Notre Dame gets the possession.
Just the first foul on Cook. With Hidalgo now on the bench, Anna DeWolf leading the offense from that lead guard spot. Hassan Prosper using her size.
And we talked about that as well in our conversation with Niele Ivey in terms of the size of her perimeter and how she can go big. And Shauna Green mentioned it. Hey, we can get small in our backcourt. We got to be able to match up when they go big.
Cook going deep into the bag. In and out, hesitation for two.
First bucket of the season for Cook.
Remember, she missed those first 3 games of the season with an injury. And one of the things that Illinois head coach Shauna Green missed most was, of course, her ability on the floor, but also her leadership, her vocal leadership. She says Kendall Bostic and Makira Cook are 2 of the most vocal leaders on this team. Tie up right at the rim between Westbeld and a bunch of Illini.
Excellent read here by Hassan Prosper. Has a smaller defender on her back, uses her body and physicality to get position, and then the in and out. You're right, Zora. We're seeing the handles coming on strong in this game. Cook getting right to the rack. Another drive to the bucket for Illinois off the bounce. Again, that's where they've had success.
Inbounds play, exactly the shot they wanted. That's DeWolf.
DeWolf, the transfer from Fordham, finding her stride with this team. I mean, to be inserted into the starting lineup in the absence of Miles in particular with this team, you got some big shoes, not to fill, but to help make up for.
Bryant patient in the paint. Well, with Anna DeWolf, she was the A-10 player of the year her sophomore year, averaged 18 points per game last season for Fordham. She's used to being that first option, and it takes a while to understand your role in this Power 5 system at Notre Dame. Offensive glass, noticeable early for Notre Dame. Step back 3. And another opportunity for the Irish. Bransford takes a hard fall, and she will go to the free throw line. The size of Notre Dame in various position groups on display early.
Yeah, and I'm curious looking at the rebounding, because that's where you'll really feel it. And that's something Notre Dame was good at last season. Boy, could they rebound the ball. And from the perimeter, Olivia Miles and Sonia Citron, 2 of the best. And that's what got them out into transition. So you're trying to make up for the rebounding in a sense, but using your size advantage to control the pace of the game.
Notre Dame second in the ACC last season in rebounds, plus 10.6 on the rebounding margin, the Irish. Under a minute to go. 9-point game. High screen, trying to get something going for Illinois. Bryant asking for help. The step through is all she has. Creates the contact.
And Bryant not shying away. We talked about the size of Notre Dame, and what Bryant is doing now is using her quickness to attack that size.
And right now, this Notre Dame team has a 9-point lead, even without 2 of its main playmakers. Of course, we talked about Olivia Miles, but also Sonia Citron missing her first game after that knee injury she sustained on Wednesday. Was playing phenomenal, 23 points, and then at the end of that third quarter, she goes down. But you see her here supporting her teammates and make sure she's keeping that knee elevated as she works to come back.
Yep, a few weeks, so everybody in South Bend can take a collective sigh of relief. But that's a lot of points, and that's a lot of assists and ball handling and rebounding. A lot of production missing for Notre Dame. So Niele Ivey's got to be happy, at least for this first quarter, and what she is seeing from her team, in particular Westbeld and Prosper, and how they've stepped up.
Here's Westbeld again. This time from the elbow. That's off. Foul on the rebound. And we are now in the bonus, so that'll be 2 shots for Illinois. Dahlia McKenzie, we were talking to her teammate Kendall Bostic. She said, no one is in the gym more than Dal, as they call her.
Quiet in how she approaches the game, but very important because she's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. We've seen her get some off the bounce, and just in terms of running the system and knowing expectations, etc. She's important.
Big Ten honorable mention last season, McKenzie was.
And not putting up quite the numbers that she did last season, but had to take on a different role, especially with Cook out the first couple games. She can probably settle in a little more on the offensive end from here on out.
Shot clock is off. Notre Dame trying to get the last shot of this quarter. It's Hidalgo and Westbeld playing with one another. The Wolf pump fake. Just short.
Those are the expectations. He's a senior. She's been through the battles and the wars and all of that. And so who better to step up in this situation than Westbeld?
Second quarter underway. Cook getting into the lane. Slides with that pivot foot. Let's go now to Isis Young.
Yeah, guys, I had the chance to listen in to that last huddle for Illinois, and Coach Shauna Green really focusing on matchups. She wants to make sure that defensively they're matched up correctly, and then offensively they're exploiting the mismatches that they can have. And then defensively as well, boxing out. They really want to clean up the rebounds and get on the glass.
Shauna Green talked about the fact that rebounds would be so important in this game, and she knew the size would be a challenge, but today at shoot-around, she was really charging her team to make sure they're crashing the boards. Seen multiple offensive rebounds by Notre Dame so far. It's allowed them to get second chance opportunities. Here's the freshman, Emma Risch. Shot clock winding down for Notre Dame. In the hands of Hidalgo. DeWolf left alone.
But the right read. And we've seen Hidalgo do that in a couple of situations where they've read the pick and pop, and she's had to go for that long pass, the skip pass. It's the shot just hasn't gone down.
Well, you can sense Hidalgo's kindness. Oh, if that pass goes through, you could understand what she was seeing there. But her sense of calmness when there's less than 10 seconds to go in the shot clock, understanding that she could find the shot she wants. Both these teams 2-1 on the season. LaChina, you mentioned that loss last weekend to Marquette. This is an Illinois team that was in the preseason top 25, came into the season at 23, but after that loss to Marquette is now unranked.
Yeah, but Shauna Green said, hey, we fought back. We were without our leading scorer and one of our best defenders, and credit to Marquette. I mean, Megan Duffy has that thing rolling, and they're going to be a problem in the Big East this year.
Bryant has Hidalgo on her. Taking care of the basketball, paramount for Illinois. Just enough space. Bryant connects.
Multiple screening action for Genesis Bryant, and I love the confidence that we've seen build. Going back to the end of the first quarter, she took some contact, got to the free throw line, and I mentioned that 32 points she put up in the first game of the season. She can get the offense cooking.
And off the dribble, too, the ability to set your feet in that action. 2-point basketball game. Westbeld, shot fake.
Nice box out by Illinois. No one from the Irish in the paint.
That's going to be on film. Dribble drive action. It's a hard baseline pass, but they get it to Cook. Score remains 21-19. We've got Cook and Hidalgo matched up against each other. Veteran versus the freshman. And Notre Dame taking its time in the half court. Hidalgo gets one to go from the outside. Her first three-point attempt is good.
And that's the aspect of Hidalgo's game that I have been most impressed with. Shooting 54% from long range in this young season. You couple that with how she can score and quickness off the bounce. What do you take away?
And then defensively, what she does on the other end, First she goes outside, then she goes inside.
How did she find the angle on that? Going back to the previous possession, just a catch and shoot. Hand down, shots going up. And here off of the bounce, just kisses it so nicely off of the glass. Gets the lefty going. That's a beautiful move, Zora. I mean, you heard so much about Hidalgo coming into the season, top 5 in the nation in terms of the recruits, and have been shaking it up on the courts across the country as a youngster. But to come into this level so seamlessly is just really impressive.
Mackenzie wasting no time. She's used that move multiple times today on either side. Adalia McKenzie has a couple buckets so far. Hidalgo drawing contact again. Will have the opportunity to redeem herself at the free throw line.
The surprise here by McKenzie. Prosper gets caught, and she is able to get to the rack off of the bounce. Again, we heard Isis talking about matchups, and so Illinois has found ways that they can use their speed against the size on the perimeter of Notre Dame, and Bryant and McKenzie have been able to get to the rack.
We talked so much about Hannah Hidalgo and what she's been able to do in her first season. We mentioned Juju Watkins, but these are some of the other freshmen that are making waves across the NCAA.
I was trying to figure out how full Wiley wasn't on that. What she had the other night? 47? Yeah, went crazy. Like, shoot, she got to be up in there somewhere.
You can make some calls.
I can. Let me see what the math was like on that.
Hidalgo hauls it down. Gets caught on the pass. That's a turnover. Kylie Watson now back in the basketball game for Notre Dame. And you talked about this. Look at this lineup, LaChina. You've got Kassam Prosper on the ball, Kylie Watson down low, and Natalia Marshall, KK Bransford. But still, Illinois is finding ways to get into the lane. And Niele Ivey mentioned that she wanted to switch up defenses today. Bryant just in and out. Prosper, stop and pop. Big rebound by McKenzie. She's doing it all today. Nador with the screen for Bryant. Bryant getting right into the lane. The reverse. 2 free throws are in her future.
There's a lot more intention by Illinois on the offensive end, attacking particular matchups, also a lot of patience and getting the shots that they want. You can see the experience in their backcourt really starting to shine through, in particular with Bryant and McKenzie, 2 players that have had to step up in the absence of Cook, who has been somewhat quiet, and that's to be expected, just coming back from missing the start of the season. And they're picking up the slack.
Isis, what you got going on?
Well, China, you mentioned the intentionality of Illinois trying to get into the paint, and this is something that this team charts. They chart trying to get paint touches off of the bounce, off of penetration, at least 10 times a quarter. We've seen multiple plays now where Genesis Bryant, Cook as well, has been able to get into the paint and drive and dish, stretch the defense, or get rewarded with a foul. But you're absolutely right. They're doing such a good job of getting paint touches through penetration.
And Isis, you know as well as I do, Zora, you too, we all 3 played. I think I might have been the best player of the 3. But we all know that they're shooting a high percentage, and that's key to shooting a high percentage on the offensive end, is getting paint touches. That gets you high percentage looks if you can collapse the defense. I was just kidding, by the way. I think both of y'all were actually better players than I was. I know, but then people start Googling my stats and tweeting me, and, you know, I'm just going to take the L to start.
I'm outnumbered here with all these ACC connections. Isis and Syracuse, you Wake Forest, Elon stand up. Meantime, Hidalgo doing what she's done all season long, through the contact.
We're not writers, but we help you shape your financial story. We're not an airline, but our network connects global businesses across nearly 160 markets. We're not a startup, but our innovation labs use new technologies to help keep your information secure. We're not architects, but we help build stronger communities. We're not just any bank. We are Citi.
It's official. Open Doors is celebrating its 1-year anniversary. And as a small business owner, you can make a big difference. That's why NBC Universal and State Farm created the program called Open Doors, a trusted tool for small business owners. Our Accelerator Playbook comprises expert resources with tips and strategies to help you grow your business. Open Doors is spotlighting its milestone year of helping small businesses. Scan the code or visit NBCUOpenDoors.com.
In the season finale, only one can finish on top. The CME Group Tour Championship on NBC and Peacock.
Welcome to Season 2 of Armageddon. The guest list is huge.
The games are bigger than ever, and this place is gonna get destroyed.
How do you train for this?
Armageddon. New episodes Mondays at 11 on USA.
5-point basketball game just past midway here in the second quarter. Genesis Bryant right now for the Illini leading all scorers with 13 points. She's one of the 5 starters that returned for Shauna Green in this second season. 93% of the scoring is back. That means continuity. That means understanding roles. That means communication without talking. What's the importance and what does that do for a team when you have so many people back?
Consistency is everything. I mean, that is at the root of Illinois' success, even going back to last season and their return to the NCAA tournament. Shauna Green brought her whole staff from Dayton. So there was consistency from the top in terms of the leadership, the voices, everything that they had done to have success in Dayton. They brought that along with a couple of players who could help with the transition in terms of what the expectations were and all of the above. But you return that much in a new system and everyone at least feels comfortable in what their role is, what the identity of this team is, and it just helps the collective chemistry across the board.
Watson puts it up, gets her own rebound. 2 chippies missed at the rim. Talked about Bryant and her ability to score today. Back to the free throw line she goes.
And that might have been a frustration foul by Watson if that's on her. Didn't get the foul call on one end where I thought she should have, and then comes back and compounds that with a foul.
So that's Kylie Watson's second foul. She heads to the bench. Westbeld is back in the game. Remember, she had that vibrant first quarter with 12 points. Three-point basketball game. Got Marshall, DeWolf, Westbeld, Hidalgo, and Bransford in the game. It's Big Ten Saturday night, Nebraska, Wisconsin tonight on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night, presented by Discover.
And that is football or basketball?
That would be football.
Oh, sorry.
China.
I didn't realize it was still. I didn't know it was still football season.
The up and under, Boston. Showing off the post moves.
Boston's been a little quiet to start. Has led the Big Ten in rebounding in back-to-back seasons. She is important to what this team does on both ends.
Hidalgo gets some space. That last Bostic shot was the first one that she's put up all game. Illinois is in the middle of a 6-0 run. Trying to get its first lead of the game, blocked by Marshall.
Bostic here with a beautiful pivot foot, just keeps that foot down. The step-through move, playing through the physicality. her leadership and just the way she goes about the game, very businesslike in her approach, the communication. Listen to her on the backside of that defense.
Westbeld picking up right where she left off in the first quarter. Count it.
Bobrovsky was a little late on the rotation here, going back to the two-player game with Westbeld. Illinois' got to get a foot on that baseline. You got to cut that off because Westbeld's been quick in using her body and getting an angle to score.
Make it 15 points for Maddie Westbeld. Notre Dame extending its defense on this possession.
Quick shot there by McKenzie in transition.
Crafty move by Hidalgo, just off. Illinois seeming just a little rushed. Basketball will stay here.
A couple quick shots for Illinois. Now, they do want to play with pace, but you got to make sure you're not settling on the jump shot for a shot that you could get coming off of some screening action later in the possession. You want to attack that early in the clock, especially with the success you've been having getting 2 feet in the paint.
McKenzie sets herself up. Loose ball foul on the rebound. That one will go on Aisha Nador.
There's some foul trouble in the post for Illinois with Camille Hobby having 2 fouls here. Shoop Hill, Bryn Shoop Hill has 2, so they're having to go a little deeper in their rotation of bigs.
That was Nador's second foul as well.
Boy, Adalia McKenzie is quick off the bounce. Good transition defense by Notre Dame.
Coming up at halftime, we've got Jordan Cornett and Aaliyah Boston. I'm so excited Aaliyah is now part of our crew. The South Carolina standout #1 overall pick in the draft last year, now with the Indiana Fever. And of course, she's going to recap this game, give her insights on what's going on.
I'm here for Aaliyah Boston insights.
Yes.
She has an underrated basketball IQ. I don't think bigs get the credit that we deserve because that girl knows her basketball.
The cut and the nice feed from Westbeld will end in 2 free throws for KK Bransford. They're really sharing the basketball and getting different people touches, different people involved.
Balance is important. And in particular, a game where Neil Ivey has asked everyone to step up in the absence of Citron.
This is only Bransford's second game this season. She missed the first 2, coming back from an injury that happened this summer. Coach called her dynamic, and what I thought was so interesting was that Neil Ivey said that she really helped Hannah Hidalgo try to understand this system because she knows what it's like to be in that first year. Isis, join in on the conversation.
I was just going to highlight foul trouble becoming a little bit of an issue right now for the Fighting Illini. 4 players have 2+ fouls right now in this game for them. 3 of them are on the bench. They've got to think about defending without fouling, especially as an adjustment for the second half.
Yeah, we mentioned Hobby and Shoop and Nador, but Bostic now also with 2. Absolutely right, Isis. You would expect Notre Dame to attack those players with the fact that are in foul trouble.
Notre Dame just being relentless on the glass right now.
As they should, with some of the big bodies, the most notable names in rebounding on the bench for the Fighting Illini.
4 players in total with 2 fouls for Illinois. So you're now seeing Shea Bolin as one of the bigs, number 22 coming in for Illinois. The Wolf knocks that down, holds the follow-through as she should. Shooters just keep shooting. Missed the first couple and continues to let it fly. Under a minute to go here in the first half. Bryant on the bounce, gets it to Cook. Bounce Just right off of the Irish. Westbeld bringing it up. Foul as Hidalgo was driving to the lane.
Going back to that last bucket by Anna DeWolf, she was 0 for 5 on the season from long range before she hit that one. So it had to feel good because that will be part of the expectation for her role with this team was 35% from long range in her final season at Fordham. And so being able to stretch the floor will be an asset. In particular, in these next few weeks, the way that Sony Citron was shooting it from outside, you want to make up for some of that.
Anna DeWolf, we mentioned the fact that she's a transfer from Fordham. I asked Neil Ivey, how did this come to be? She said, well, we played Fordham, and I was so impressed with what Anna DeWolf was doing there. I saw her name in the transfer portal, and I thought she'd be great for our system. She's showing it now in this game.
Yeah, she's got that spunk. She's got that chip on her shoulder that is part of the Notre Dame pedigree.
Jada Peebles fades away, rebound to Westbeld. Shot clock is off. DeWolf makes the decision to slow down, get the last shot. Notre Dame in the middle of a 9-0 run. Before it goes, Hidalgo bumped it in! Time and time again. What can she do?
If you want to know who has the juice, Hannah Hidalgo has the juice. Off of the bounce, time expiring. She just finds a way to get an angle. And wait a minute.
They're calling an offensive foul.
Wow.
Surprise to us and the crowd.
I need another look at that.
So that is almost underway in the third quarter here. Notre Dame ended the first half on a 9-0 run. Right now has a 10-point advantage. Same starters as the first half for both teams. Isis, what's going on?
Well, I talked to Shauna Green at halftime, and the first thing she said was, I love our team's half-court defense right now. Where they're getting scored on is in transition. They've got to make the adjustment to take care of the basketball and continue to battle on the boards. And then for Notre Dame, LaChina, you've hinted at it, but ball screen success right now with Maddie Westbeld on the pop. They want to continue this. They want to continue recognizing those mismatches, finding success inside, and then defensively, better rotations on the guards, specifically Makaira Cook and Genesis Bryant. They really are looking to limit them in the second half.
They want to limit plays like that where, you know, Adalia McKenzie gets all the way to the rim.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois definitely had some success in their smaller backcourt, just finding the seams. And Adalia McKenzie here against a taller Prosper, even against the defensive rotation. I mean, that wasn't bad on the backside. But the ability to finish high off of the glass there has to be of concern for Notre Dame.
Just an update on the foul trouble story. Remember, there was 4 players with 2+ fouls in that first half for Illinois. Now Bryn Pill and Makaira Cook both have 3 fouls. They've gone to the bench early in this second half. DeWolf will pump fake. Showing the versatility in the game, misses at the rim.
And look for Illinois to try to get 44 going. Camille Hobby, the transfer, 41, the transfer from NC State. As Bryant just said, no, this is the quarterback keeper. Forget the post, but Hobby's a big addition to this team with her size, her strength, her power on the interior. She's had a nice start to her career in Illinois.
2 threes for DeWolf in this game. Finding some continuity, getting comfortable there on the outside, DeWolf. 9-point basketball game. McKenzie been able to get right where she wants to go for most of the game. And Genesis Bryant gets it right back at the top of the key. She already has 17 points. Looks like she's going to keep this one. Long strides.
In complete attack mode, even showing some emotion, which is not really Bryant's thing, but the cone drill and getting to the bucket. And here you mentioned DeWolf and the confidence starting to build from outside the arc. coming in 0 for long range on the season. That's changed today.
2 for 3 from the outside, Anna DeWolf is, and Genesis Bryant back at the free throw line. When you're a guard and you see these taller, bigger players on you, is your mindset to use that first quick step to get around and use that as a way to get to the rim? Is that what she's been doing?
Well, I mean, in my days as a small, quick guard, I would definitely be able to speak to that. But no, you're right. I mean, you got to find an advantage. It's obviously not jump shooting over the size of an outstretched arm of the defender. So you use your feet. That's your advantage. Your quickness to get around a bigger player, which tend to be slower.
You would know that part, though.
Well, yeah, I would know the slower feet on defense. Thanks, Dora, for bringing that full circle.
Just in case our viewers are not aware of what part of the game you play, post player. KK Bransford going back to the free throw line. Had a couple trips in that first half. Bransford, now the sophomore at Ohio. McDonald's All-American, 2-time Miss Ohio basketball. Take some time to find your role in college because, of course, you're playing at the Division I level. You were it in high school more times than not. Aggressive defense by Hidalgo. That's her 5th steal of the game. And she turns it into opportunities to score. Hidalgo consistently doing that.
So much pressure on the ball for Hidalgo.
I was talking to Hannah Hidalgo, and she said the reason I came to Notre Dame is the way that Coach Ivy recruited me. She still feels like she's recruiting me now. Niele Ivy in her 4th season at the helm of Notre Dame basketball. 21st season at Notre Dame in some capacity. 5 as a player, 12 as an assistant, now in her 4th season as a head coach.
Well, I'm sure she's relentless in the recruiting of Hidalgo because that's how she is in every facet of the game. I mean, as a player, having won a national championship, as a point guard at Notre Dame, as an assistant coach. And something she talked about with Hannah is how her energy defensively reminds her of Skylar Diggins-Smith.
High praise. That's a big compliment.
Yeah, she hadn't seen anyone with that level of ball pressure and impact since Skylar came to campus, and we know what she did in elevating this Notre Dame program. And I don't really think about that when I think about Skylar Diggins-Smith. When her time in Notre Dame, I think about her scoring, her incredible passing, but she's absolutely right in that Skylar has never shied away from picking up the ball 94 feet.
And what's so evident with Hidalgo is that she has as much passion for applying pressure and getting a steal as she does those and ones.
Yep.
Look at her now.
How many times she can turn the ball in the backcourt? That's taking time off the clock. That's making your lead guard have to think. You're making your defense job easier because you are rattling the defense from the jump. And Notre Dame jumping back into zone here, and zone press into the zone half court.
Quickly the other way goes Bransford, coast to coast. Westbell cleans it up.
Notre Dame also had the rebounding advantage at the half, +7. And the Irish feeling good.
Largest lead of the afternoon for Notre Dame, 46-33.
We're not writers, but we help you shape your financial story. We're not an airline, but our network connects global businesses across nearly 160 markets. We're not a startup, but our innovation labs use new technologies to help keep your information secure. We're not architects, but we help build stronger communities. We're not just any bank. We are Citi.
Is said to change its entire location in pursuit of sunlight. Where could reinvention take your business? Accenture. Let there be change.
A first child can be stressful. So to make things a little less overwhelming, Progressive is offering special rewards for new parents. But we're not stopping there. We think even cat ladies deserve rewards. Left-handed people, people with birthdays, recent grads who can't move on with their lives. All of them. And these people we found on the internet can be automatically enrolled in the Progressive Loyalty Program and get special rewards. Even people who just got back from Europe.
It's actually pronounced croissant. I was just in Europe.
13 points is Notre Dame's largest lead of the game. Moments ago, Gatorade presented this check in the amount of $10,000 to Metro Ball Youth Outreach. Metro Ball is a nonprofit organization in the D.C. area that runs after-school youth basketball clinics and coaches AAU teams that travel around the country to compete in front of college coaches. Yesterday, Gatorade organized a tour around D.C. with local kids involved in the program, and players from both Notre Dame and Illinois were in attendance. This is not only a basketball game, but this is a weekend filled with community service, learning, leadership seminars. They had a full day yesterday. Yeah. And then they were in here practicing, shooting around.
Yeah, this is what I love most about the City Shamrock Classic is it's not just a basketball game, and I think Neil Ivey may have said it yesterday. It's bigger than basketball. It's community impact. It's women's leadership. Sheila Johnson speaking at the luncheon yesterday. I mean, what a guest. And then you have two incredible leaders in Shauna Green and Neil Ivey who get to come to the nation's capital and interact with these fans. And the leadership here in the city is just a really well-organized and well-thought-out event.
Both of these coaches had so much to say about what this weekend has meant to their programs. We now bring in Isis for more.
Well, we can see on the screen that Shauna Green is fired up right now. But that timeout for the Fighting Illini started with a player huddle, guys. It was a player huddle before they got to the coaches. They talked for about 20 seconds and tried to calm themselves down. And then Shauna Green was serious in the huddle about them taking care of the basketball. She actually stood up and showed them how to protect the ball from Hannah Hidalgo and said they have to take care of the ball or they cannot win this game.
And it has to be a point of frustration, Isis, for Coach Green, because you watched the film coming into this game and you knew that Hidalgo was going to be pressuring you. And it's your job at the head of that offense to take care of the ball for sure. And 19 points off turnovers is a lot of offense to give up for sure.
15 turnovers, and that was a key to the game. If they wanted to be in this game, they had to take care of the basketball. Isis, you have more.
Well, Coach Green told us that, I mean, this was a concern of hers, that she hadn't seen someone pressure the ball like Hidalgo, but I expected more ball screens on Hidalgo. I really expected them to look to get her off the ball and really to make this more of a physical game. Like, there should be a ball screen up here at the front right now just to get her off of the ball so they can start their offense. That could be a way to relieve some pressure.
Yeah, we did see a little bit of that early. Actually, Hannah got caught on a screen in that way.
Well, Charlie, you mentioned the fact that you didn't know that football was next. Well, that pass looked like the quarterback to a receiver there.
It did. Excellent pass, and Notre Dame's got it clicking right now. But going back to the screening action early, I feel like Notre Dame's bigs just adjusted really well to that when Illinois was trying to set that early screen and covering. But Isis, maybe they'll go back to that to relieve some of the pressure.
Hidalgo slowing it down here. Step back, Trey. And the touch pass from Watson down to Westbeld. Chemistry on display.
Big to big.
19 points from Maddie Westbeld. Make sure you count that assist from Watson. 11-3 run for the Irish. Here comes Cook. Smooth jumper.
Yeah, it would be a good time for Makyra Cook to find that shooting and to be able to add to the offense for Illinois.
Watson working down low. You see the offense really coming together for Notre Dame.
And this is a smaller lineup in the game right now for Illinois, and you can feel Notre Dame really taking advantage of that with their bigs.
Cook has the ability, green light, to do it whenever she wants. Off that time. They get another crack at it. Genesis Bryant, 19 points. Leading Illinois right now in the scoring column. Two-woman game works out. Nice cut by Cook.
Yeah, good curling action there. And I like the call by Shauna Green. You're going to need Cook if you want to not only get back into this game and win it. I believe that her offense has to be a big part of it because, quite honestly, in the front court, they're being outperformed right now.
They just keep going to Watson, and it keeps working. When you notice that last play, Cook was off the ball, maybe because she's missed so many games. To get back into your rhythm, you get some pull-up jumpers rather than having to create your own shot right here.
And Notre Dame doing a good job of getting the ball out of the hands of Cook, understanding how impactful she can be on these possessions. And Notre Dame has switched up defenders. Now KK is guarding Cook. She may be the third or fourth different player that's given her a defensive look.
That was a part of the strategy for Niele Ivey. Give Makira Cook different looks defensively. We've got a whistle and a foul. We will be right back. 15-point ball game.
We're not writers, but we help you shape your financial story. We're not an airline, but our network connects global businesses across nearly 160 markets. We're not a startup, but our innovation labs use new technologies to help keep your information secure. We're not architects, but we help build stronger communities. We're not just any bank, we are Citi.
Tree is said to change its entire location in pursuit of sunlight. Where could reinvention take your business? Accenture. Let there be change.
I happened upon this antique jewelry box.
I am a genius. Oh, gold. Your wish is my command.
Make it the Mona Lisa.
I mean, she could have smiled, right?
Directed by Sam Boyd.
I've evaded the police for 20 years. They can't catch me. There's an all-out manhunt for Sir.
Abby?
Who is that woman?
Quiet.
What would happen if I scream?
Found, Tuesday on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
The Notre Dame alumni band in attendance today. The DC version, all alumni of Notre Dame. The eldest member, 90 years old, still providing tunes for us. We now send it over to Isis.
Well, this year, the NCAA made a rule change allowing 2 more assistant coaches on the roster for teams. And Coach Ivey for the Irish took full advantage of bringing in Carlos Knox as the player development program director. Knox spent a majority of his career, guys, in the WNBA, over a decade, almost a decade, with the Indiana Fever, winning a championship with them in 2012. He's in player development. Let me tell you some players he's worked with. 4-time Olympic gold medalist Tamika Catching, 5-time WNBA All-Star Katie Douglas. Coach Ivey really wants to continue developing the next level of pros at Notre Dame and truly believes Coach Knox aligns with that mission. And we could talk about the heaps of players for the Irish that are in the WNBA right now. Marina Mabry, Arike Gubawale, WNBA champion Jackie Young. I mean, the list goes on and on of Notre Dame players in the W.
The legacy is long for Notre Dame, and so many of them play on this very floor in Entertainment Sports Arena, the home of the Washington Mystics. The W is one of your fine passions, LaChina.
It is. WNBA champion Washington Mystics.
Excuse me, 2019, yes.
For those of us that are from the DMV, like myself and you, Zora, that's important to acknowledge. But yeah, first of all, Coach Knox is one of the most respected player development coaches in the women's game. It's great to see what Niele is doing and making that connection to the WNBA, because a lot of these players have aspirations to be there, and so he's working with them on their skill set. But yeah, it's great to bring the W venue into play for a college game. I heard that Mike Tebow is somewhere in attendance. We haven't been able to find him in this arena. Head coach of the Washington Mystics and one of the best to ever do it in the history of this game. So you're seeing a lot of the intersectionality of WNBA and college, and we need that for both games to be strong and to grow, because they're both on the rise in a big way.
There's Prosper on the run, gets caught up, and the charge is taken by Genesis Bryant. Here comes the Irish. The history, the tradition, the spectacle, the excitement, the passion, the drama, the fight. Notre Dame football and all my friends at NBC on that usual crew is next on NBC.
So, Zora, since that's your normal beat, tell me about my Deeks. Do they have a shot? Does my Wake Forest crew have a chance?
The quarterback for Notre Dame, Sam Hartman, went to Wake Forest, so it is a personal meeting.
That is.
But Notre Dame is coming off a loss to Clemson, so they will be looking for redemption in the win category.
I hope my Wake Forest Demon Deacons take it out on Sam, because he's
we know who you're rooting
now
for.
a traitor. So.
Oh my. Spent 4 years there. It's okay. You thought you rooted for the ACC and plays like that from Hidalgo.
You got to find something personal and just dig into that, right? Especially when, you struggle a little this season. So I'm okay with the Deeks using that for some inspiration.
The motor keeps moving for Notre Dame. It seems like they get on a run and they just find momentum off of that.
And this has been the story of the game. It's been steal or rebound and headed the other way. And again, just running the floor. You got to credit the way you see even Nat there running the floor, because what she's doing is taking away one of the defenders so Hannah can get right to the rim. And so it's a team effort in transition, and that's something that Notre Dame worked on after their loss to South Carolina. Ball movement, spacing, really taking advantage of their transition game, and you see where they're thriving. They've had back-to-back games of 100 or more points for the Irish.
Notre Dame averaging 95 points per game. Hannah Hidalgo has 16 so far today, 6 steals. She averages 7 on the season.
This is my second time watching Hannah in person. I was actually in Paris for the tip-off of women's basketball season and for Notre Dame. Neil Ivey and Dawn Staley making some history. First women's college basketball game there. But again, I think the most impressive thing for me in watching her play is the constant attack. She never rests on defense or offense, just full steam ahead. Just so quick, decisive, fearless, and going left on the finishes is really impressive as well, and how controlled she is going to that side of the floor. I mean, I think she catches the defense because she can really finish with either hand in a very crafty way.
Coaches and teammates refer to Hidalgo as a dog. I asked her, where did that come from? She said, I grew up with 4 brothers. We played in the backyard. We had a concrete court. We would play 2-on-2 if our dad joined. We played 3-on-3. She said, I'm not new to this. I'm used to physical basketball.
No back down whatsoever.
Ever. Fearless. Isis, you can add something.
Well, guys, I grew up knowing Hannah. Again, Jersey girl connection, but I attended Life Center Academy, and that's where her brothers and she went in middle school before she went to Paul Six for high school. She battled against her brothers. She was always the smallest one in the gym, trying to get in every single drill, not afraid to challenge the boys as she drops off a beautiful dime. And she's always had this swag about her. I think it comes from just having to fight off 4 brothers all your life.
Sounds like that'll prepare you. But I'll tell you this, Genesis Bryant is coming right back.
She wants all the smoke.
Coming right back with the heat. I mean, she is not phased. I don't think I've ever seen her this fired up. John Green will say she's not as vocal. Well, she's been vocal in this game today. I think Hannah might be bringing it out of her.
23 points for Genesis Bryant. She's done it all today. Putting this team on her back, trying to get back into this basketball game. Meantime, the Irish taking their time on this possession. Go to Hidalgo again. No good. Nador diving on the floor. Foul on Notre Dame.
There was an early touch by Watson that got that call. The whistle was a little bit late, but there was contact made by Watson that I thought should have been a foul.
And that is her 4th personal, Kylie Watson. She only has 1 more foul on the day. She'll take a seat. 14.4 seconds left here in this 3rd quarter.
And we mentioned Coach Knox for Notre Dame, but when it comes to consistency, their staff has that as well. I mean, Carol Owens has been a mainstay, a part of every ounce of success for the Irish. Mabry and Allen, Sherelle Allen, Michaela Mabry, they both played for Notre Dame. So both of these staffs you could look at it in terms of just the continuity. I mean, much more so for Notre Dame, but that's important if you're trying to be a top 25 team.
Carol Owens over a decade at Notre Dame. She's had 2 different stints here with the Irish. Mabry played, so did Sherelle Allen. And now Maddie Westbeld has her 4th personal, so keep an eye on that. Kylie Watson, Maddie Westbeld, both on the bench with 4 towards the end of this 3rd quarter. 61-44 is the score. And it's the freshman, Corey Allen, who will be at the free throw line for Illinois. Allen coming off a 16-point performance on Wednesday in Illinois' field trip day game against St. Peter's. Still plenty of time in this one. I mean, you have a whole quarter left.
Absolutely, especially with the foul trouble mounting. It's been climbing the numbers on both sides, so that could lead to some interesting lineups in the 4th quarter.
Will they get a shot off before the buzzer?
Gritty blue-collar stats that we knew would anchor this contest, but still a quarter to go, and we'll see how much fight the Illini have in it.
Just 2 3-pointers on the afternoon, quickly the other way. Kenzie met at the rim by Natalia Marshall. It will be a foul call. Just her 2nd. Remember, Maddie Westbeld and Kylie Watson are on the bench with 4 personals.
And driving to the basket is an area that I think Illinois can get back to and really capitalize on in the 4th quarter. Not only is Notre Dame in some foul trouble on their front line, but if you really get some ball rotation, let the ball touch both sides of the floor, get the defense moving, they've got the quickness to get to the rim and score some points that way.
And of course, getting to the free throw line allows the clock to stop, and another way to get back in this basketball game.
Yep.
Marshall asking for it. A little handoff to Hidalgo with a nice wraparound pass. Oh, 8 assists for Hannah Hidalgo. That was pretty.
Not afraid to thread the needle. And she has turned the ball over today. She's got 5 turnovers, but you live with that if you're Niele Ivey because she has such a feel for the game. If she sees the space, she's going to try to make the pass. And right there, just the right amount of bounce on the ball to get that in the hands of Nat Marshall for an easy finish.
They go back to that action. Little off on the pass, so they'll have to reset. DeWolf looks like she was looking at the basket. This time, takes it to the deck. Bransford sets her feet. Yes! Do it! Threes in the air for KK Bransford. They're having fun out there.
Good patience. And it's important for Notre Dame to score in the half court. We know what they can do off of their defense. That's been a lot of their offense tonight has been off of their D. But they got to be able to execute in the half court, and that was a great example.
Mackenzie continuing to go what's working for her this afternoon. Free throw after free throw. Meantime, the other end.
You flatten the ball on the baseline, and then you make a good to great pass from Prosper to Bransford, who was ready to put the 3 up.
And to me, that even started with Anna DeWolf. She could have put up a shot if she wanted to. She has range from a couple feet behind the line, but they got deeper into that offense, and you talked about the importance of being able to score in the half court. 20-point basketball game. 8:47 to go in regulation. The largest lead of the afternoon for Notre Dame. We've got Hidalgo, Bransford, DeWolf. Prosper and Marshall in the game for Notre Dame. Playing inside out. You saw KK Bransford working down low, draws the foul on McKenzie.
And that's the part of Notre Dame's offense that I think is really tough to guard, because Bransford, Westbeld, Prosper, they can play inside or out. So we just saw KK hit a three, but then you can post her up because they've got size, but they've also got skill and strength.
Niele Ivey called a timeout, didn't like what she was seeing on that inbounds play. And you love how both of these coaches are holding their teams accountable. The standard is excellence.
Boom, 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 boom. Nissan has a car for everyone.
Every driver who wants more.
More turbo.
More freedom.
More electric.
At Nissan, more is all we do.
The Universal Below-the-Line traineeship's goal is to give people the opportunity to be on a major film production and learn on the job.
We shot Shooting Stars in Cleveland and Akron, Ohio. LeBron was adamant on that.
To know that projects like this are coming to town, it's a dream come true.
Giving me the opportunity to get hands-on experience.
The most exciting part has been all the people that I've met.
It really was a great opportunity. It's very important to LeBron that he gives back, so we're very excited to be able to do that as well.
Today, college football is on NBC and Peacock. To kick things off, Wake Forest, Notre Dame. Here come the Irish in the final game from South Bend this season. Perfectly there for Hartman. Then at prime time, Nebraska, Wisconsin. This is what makes college football so exciting. On Big Ten Saturday night. Today on NBC and Peacock.
Notre Dame continues to extend its lead, scores 66-47. We want to shout out one of our very own. That's my high school head coach, Fred Priester. 25 years at Oakton High School, 17 district championships, 7 regional championships, a state championship in 2012. I introduced him as the head coach of Oakton High School. You would do it differently.
I know him as the head coach of the Virginia Vogues, which was my AAU team, and I got an opportunity to play for Coach Priester at a time when no one else would have put me on their AAU team. I was 14 years old, and I was terrible at the game of basketball. But he believed in me. He saw something in me. And I guess it goes without saying the game of basketball has changed my life. But sometimes it takes one person seeing something in you. And Coach Priester did that for me. And we didn't have the money for me to play AAU. My mom couldn't get me to practice. He found a way to make sure that I stayed included in the program. And again, I got a scholarship to Wake Forest. It was life-changing. We love you, Coach Priester. Thank you for all the lives you have impacted, including Zora's and myself.
That was Makira Cook going to the cup, keeping it for herself, and one opportunity.
How did you come out of the timeout if you're Illinois? You know that the sense of urgency has to be there. You get your best scorer going, though Genesis Bryant has been the best scorer today, but your leading scorer, your all Big Ten selection, and she answers the call.
Just one more note on Fred Priester, a great pioneer of the game. Jasmine Thomas also went to Oakton High School, standout at Duke, in the WNBA.
So many players.
So much for me as a player and as a person. Isis, though, she wants us to get back to basketball. What do you got for us?
Well, LaChina, you inspired me to tell this story about Niele Ivey allowing Kassan Prosper to miss a game this season to go play for Team Canada. Coach Ivey told us that it is a dream of Kassan's to represent her team in the Olympics. So, after their season opener game in Paris last Monday, Kassan left to play in Colombia with Team Canada. She played Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, helping them qualify for the FIBA Olympic qualifying rounds. In that final game, she had 8 points and 6 rebounds. And then win. She returned to South Bend and was able to play Wednesday versus Northwestern. But it just goes to show you that when you have coaches that understand players and their dreams and their willingness to help them accomplish their dreams, it can go so far. It just was a touching story to me to hear that Coach Ivey said, hey, you missing one game to be a stepping stone for you to make history and to live out your dream, it's much more important.
Kassan Prosper on the drive there. Coach Ivey said that Kassan is one of the special people on this team, and she's given so much to me, and that was just my way to give back to her. And she hasn't missed a beat. If anything, she just got more reps in, getting some extra games overseas.
All right, and both of these coaches have great relationships with their players. I mean, when you look at even what Shauna Green has done, bringing Bryn and Makira from Dayton. I mean, those coaches wanted to follow her to Illinois to come and play with her. Genesis Bryant remembered her recruiting her when she was in high school, even though she decided to go to NC State. Still a relationship there, and that's what I love about both of these programs is these coaches have excellent connections to their players and really believe in them beyond the basketball court.
Shauna Green said she went into the meeting room with her Dayton Flyers and said, hey, I have an amazing opportunity at Illinois. Makira Cook said, I'm coming. I will be there. And this team is fighting to get back into this basketball game. 18-point difference with 7:02 to go.
They are not lacking the effort in the fight. They've fallen a little short on execution when they've gotten some opportunities here in recent possessions, but showing a lot of spark here in the first few minutes of the fourth quarter.
Well, and it's almost like the extended ball pressure of Hannah Hidalgo has rubbed off on Genesis Bryant. You saw she was getting up in Hidalgo's grill. That's where you're going to get back into this game. She gets past everybody, and that's the celebration move from Hidalgo.
Get in my grill if you want to.
2 fists up.
The grill is on fire.
Bryant tries to go right back at it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a quick shot. I would love to see Illinois. I know time isn't on their side, but I want to see them being a little more intentional about working the ball around and working as a team.
Step through, Marshall rolls around the rim.
Hannah Hidalgo said, okay, you can line up in front of me if you want to. That doesn't mean you're going to be able to stop me. And it's the second line of defense. She consistently can score over the second line of defense. You have to figure out a way to trap her and get the ball out of her hands early in the possession if you want to keep her out of the paint off the bounce.
Bryant left alone, 26 points for Genesis Bryant.
But even that was a little bit of enough of an action offensively to get Bryant a better look than that last three that she took.
Offense in motion for the Irish.
Some changes in defense a little bit here for Illinois to try to keep Notre Dame off of balance.
McKenzie has been able to do just that all game long. The passion and emotion showing from the line.
That's an explosive move. But going back to the ball movement here, a little bit of a screen, gets Bryant open. You saw the patience from Cook waiting for the action, and then McKenzie just off of the bounce. Spirited right now for Illinois.
And that was the fourth foul on Kassan Prosper. She's replaced by Maddie Westbeld, who also has 4 fouls, so the Irish need to be careful. 3-point play is finished by McKenzie. 14-point basketball game. And there's something, too, when you're trying to get back in a game, you see that 10-point mark approaching, and it changes things mentally. Big possession for both teams. Bransford gets the screen from Westbeld, that pick and pop motion that you talked about, LaChina. It's good!
And Westbeld literally orchestrated that offense. I've never seen her talk as much in her career as she has today. In the absence of some of their veterans, their junior class in particular, Westbeld has been fantastic.
Wow. Bryant going deep in the bag.
The footwork, outstanding.
Wow. The skill set on display on this court right now. I know so many of these players aspire to play in the WNBA. Well, no better platform to do it than the home of the Washington Mystics. Westbeld asking asking for the ball. Hidalgo hugged by Makira Cook, and they call it a tie-up.
She literally hugged her. I mean, if you see that from the back, take a look at this. Cook right here, she's got her arm all the way on her. Boy, that's a tough one.
Referees say the possession goes to Illinois. Play continues. 4:25 to go. If you're Illinois, you want to capitalize on a call like that. Added pressure from Westbeld. Bolin looking for help. Bryant has been going one-on-one all afternoon, and it continues.
What? They called it travel.
No scoring. You needed that momentum from Illinois.
Where?
So you have the questionable calls on both sides.
No. That's not a travel. Wow.
And the beat goes on. Hidalgo bounces off of the Illini. She has done that time and time again today. To have that series of events.
It's rare to see a freshman this physical. Look at the contact. She just
bounces off.
Focus through the finish. It does not matter. And the trash talking from a seated position is elite.
She backs it up too. In 4 games this season, Hidalgo has scored over 21 points in all of them. Remember, this is her first year in college basketball.
And if not for the injury, the unfortunate, obviously, injury to Olivia Miles, this Cook starts cooking for the Illini.
Illinois is still in this, very much so.
But if not for the injury to Miles, who is still working her way back, no timetable on her return, would Hannah have had this kind of opportunity to get comfortable on the national stage? I don't think so.
Miles, knee surgery. And so she's rehabbing, working her way back. Isis.
Well, Coach Ivey told us the advantage that Hannah has right now is that she can play through mistakes. I mean, she's playing 36, 38 minutes per game right now as a freshman point guard leading this team. But the ability for her to play through her mistakes, to play free, and to play confident, that is why she is so relentless on the court. That is why she's one of the best players we're watching in the country right now.
Hannah Hidalgo really is the only true point guard with Olivia Miles out on this roster right now, and with Sonia Citron out.
And I'm hesitant to call her a true PG. I think she's a scoring PG. Miles, I think, is a little different in her style, where she is a pass first.
Here's a look at our Nissan thrilling moments. Hannah Hidalgo bouncing off of Sherry Bolin like it's a trampoline, making the basket in the process. 22 points for the freshman.
It's a movie. Run it back. You're going to see it a lot
Get your
this
popcorn.
season. Yes.
And the Irish will have to continue this game without Kylie Watson. The starting center has fouled out. Turnover, Illinois. Just missing opportunities to capitalize and to dig into this deficit a little bit more.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the effort has been outstanding. The execution just at certain points has not come through. And you got to credit Notre Dame, who has sped Illinois up. They have made them play faster. It's one thing to play with pace. You don't want to play fast or quick, because that leads to turnovers and mistakes, and we've seen that.
Offensive foul. And for Illinois, Shauna Green wanted this game. They scrimmaged Notre Dame last year for a team that went to the NCAA tournament, had such a big turnaround. She wants to play the best. And on a neutral court, she called this a very unique opportunity, a great opportunity to continue to see where they can improve and where they are. And even though they do have Makira Cook, it's her first game back. You can tell she's still trying to get a rhythm for the season. Bostic giving Cook some space with the screen. She gets the bucket to go, but she is hobbled, Makira Cook. Part of her lower leg.
Outstanding concentration here by Cook, keeping the dribble alive, multiple defenders coming over, and I want to go back. Looks like it, don't want to speculate, but maybe a cramp situation, not sure, but that lower leg of Cook.
No trainers on the court just yet.
But I wanted to note something earlier. Going into the half, we talked about a restricted area play by Hannah Hidalgo. And we were looking, I was looking at that play, but our colleague Rebecca Lobo reminded me that in women's basketball, there's no more restricted area for the women this year, only the area immediately under the rim. So it's still marked, but there's no longer an RA play there. And as Cook hobbles off, she looks like she's actually okay and at the free throw line, but shout out to Lobo for the assists on the rules.
Hidalgo slowing it up. 12-point lead for Notre Dame. 2 minutes to go in this basketball game. Fourth game of the season for both these teams. Records stand at 2-1 for both Notre Dame and Illinois. Both teams coming off wins on Wednesday where they put up 100-plus points. Here's Hidalgo, Euro step, but in America.
You don't know where to plant yourself as a defender because she's going to shake, and then she's going to bake, and then she's going to fake. And it's just really tough to contain.
She's shown us so many different parts of her game in this one on both sides of the floor. But you know who's really, really impressed me is Genesis Bryant.
Yes.
28 points and her ability just to get to the rim.
And these coaches will look at the stat sheet, and between Bryant and Hidalgo, they've got 15 turnovers. So there'll be some things to keep them humble.
Take the good with the not so good.
When they get back to practice. But boy, have we seen some highlights from some smaller guards.
You've seen both teams have to work through playing through fouls. Our Citibank player of the game is no other than number 3.
24 points, 8 for 14 from the field, 7 for 11 from the free throw line. Hannah Hidalgo has been exceptional here in the nation's capital, leading her Irish to what looks like will be a victory with under a minute left in this game. But it's also what she does on defense, as this team racked up 31 points off turnover, and that starts with her intensity on the defensive end as a freshman, Zora.
This is the second year that Notre Dame has put on the City Shamrock Classic. They took on Cal a season ago, got the dub in that one, and Coach Neil Ivy's hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. This year, the game comes to Washington, D.C., where Hannah Hidalgo put on a show. Westbeld with the tip-in. Time winding down. Bryant gets another one up.
Get the 30-piece in the books.
Yes, her second one of the season. And the classic will come to a close. Final